Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is the May macro competition, the flower competition. We're going to tell you who won the thing. I'm here with Angi Wallace today. Angie's in the north of England, and she agreed months ago, after I saw her flower pictures, to help me judge this flower competition. Angi, welcome. Glad you could make it, and I'm really looking forward to this talk.
Hello, thank you for having me on here. Yes, I've loved going through the images with you. They've been absolutely stunning. So
Good.
thoroughly enjoyable and very hard to judge.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you agree because I think that I think it's a really good it's a good thing problem to have is too many good pictures in a competition. Now, I saw some of your pictures too, and I have been calling you the flower photographer for months. And I learned just the other day that you are, in fact, not a flower photographer. You just do that for fun on the side. What kind of
Mm.
photographer are you?
Well, how do I put this? Hello, my name is Angie, and I am a frogtographer, or
Frogographer.
a frogholic.
Love it. The red-eyed frog is your subject of choice. Is that right?
All frogs, really, but I do keep red-eyed tree frogs.
And
And actually, I have a little surprise for you here.
okay.
You weren't expecting this, were you?
No, no. It's a
You're about
live.
to meet one of my little frogs. If I can just, this will only take seconds. I'm being very mean, waking them up.
Oh, they sleep.
There
Oh
you
my
go.
goodness.
One of my little frogs.
I didn't realize. Oh, see,
And he's on the
I think he's pressed.
screen. So he's going away straight away.
Are they tame?
No, they'll never be tame.
No, they are just after all little reptiles. I photograph snakes and frogs too. Actually, I do as much of that as I do insects when I'm out in the field.
Yeah,
Uh,
I love frogs,
yeah.
but I enjoy insects and snakes as well.
Well, your flower photography. I mean, as I love these especially that triptych of tree frogs. This one, the frog trio. That's just inspired. I like the way you tile these photographs. You did the same with some flying insects too, if I remember.
Yeah, yeah, I do.
It's
The
lovely, but
the
sorry.
frog the frog image with the tulip, that was one of the first frog photos that I really took properly, and that really got me into it.
Oh yeah.
And also I ended up with a lot of phone calls, like, offering me jobs and asking me to come and do talks just because of that image,
I believe it.
which is
I believe
crazy.
it. I'd have offered you a job on the basis of that image. The Another one that I had not seen before is this unbelievable picture of a puffball mushroom that looks like a little cottage in the woods that's got smoke coming out the chimney. That picture, it's a good thing for the people that won the mushroom competition that you weren't entered in that thing when we did it earlier this year, because that one just is beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you, thank you.
But it's
I did cheat a little bit with that one. I prodded it to make it all the spores come out. So from
yeah.
behind, I had a finger poking it or a stick poking it. So
That does not sound like uh, a problem to me. It's going to burst anyway. So good on you. It looks fantastic.
thank
Now, the pictures that I first saw of yours were the flowers, and I saw maybe half a dozen pictures you sent. These are a couple of examples. I'm not even sure what they are, but then again, I don't know what daisy looks like. So yeah,
you.
they're absolutely beautiful. It's a very characteristic feel you have to your pictures. How did you find judging a lot of pictures that are very different in style to your own?
It is really, really hard. Um, Now there's a funny question to answer.
Yeah, well, it
There's
is.
so many different approaches to it, but then there is with every genre, isn't there? It's looking at what grabs you emotionally as well as all the techniques.
Exactly, and that's really what I'm getting at is that I can look at techniques that I don't even necessarily understand. I understand well enough to know if they were done well.
Hmm.
The if your focus is right and your exposure is right and there isn't motion blur and that type of thing, I can judge it technically. But the part that's intangible is the important part to me. Is does the picture excite me, interest me,
Yeah.
grab my attention? How do you think it's a 50-50 mix with you? Or what do you
Um,
prioritize?
I will say that when I saw the competition images, I saw one image and I knew instantly that that photo was going to win because it hit me in the heart. Um, it was totally an emotive thing, and where this photo took me. So,
If that photo had been technically imperfect in some way,
mhm.
would it still have won? Can
um, you've got to be fair. You've got to look at all of them and the techniques and weigh it all up. You can allow for some flaws if the overall image is really, really good. It depends on what sort of level of competition you're going for, doesn't it? At this level, yeah, some flaws could get through, but I don't. For me, there weren't flaws in it, but I think you felt it slightly different.
no, no, no. Yes, 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 a little bit, slightly different, but you're absolutely right. It's the competition. If there are two photographs that are equally emotive and one is technically perfect, the other is not, then I think it's pretty obvious what you need to do. But
Yeah,
it is
yeah.
difficult because I have had to pass over the most powerful photographs on a couple of occasions and give the prize to a very good photograph that was better shot, because
Hmm.
after all, this is about on our channel, it's about getting better at your
Hmm.
photography. So, well, I think that we've got our work cut out for us. What we have done is we independently went through the pictures. We decided the ones we thought should get forward into a top 20 or so. There, we didn't set an exact number, and we both arrived at a set of photographs, which we then compared and remarkably matched up very nicely. And then we went through all of the pictures together yesterday. We discussed them, and Angie has made a decision on the winners. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through the entire top 10 and ties, look at the images. Angie will explain why it's in the position it's in, unless it was one that I put in there, in which case Angie will also explain why I did that. And then we'll get to the winner in due course. So I think, are you ready to go, Angie?
Absolutely, yes. Bring
All
it
right.
on.
Then let me pull up the first picture and show everybody. The first photograph is an honorable mention for B Tom. It's the Autumn Rosemary, and it's a stereo image. How about that?
Mhm.
What do you think, Angie? How did that make it
Um,
in?
it was the impact of all of the petals coming out towards you, and that's what really helped that one to get in. The stereo impact of it all.
I loved the way it in two dimensions it looks like a pretty flower, but in three, the structural elements, the way the flower on the right appears to have a platform. Well, it is a platform for bees to land on, I presume. Just it's amazing. It really grabs you. If anybody's got glasses, this is parallel, isn't it, or is it cross-eyed? I can't remember. But if you've got glasses, check this out. It's a lovely picture. So that was well, honorable mention zone. We only had a couple of honorable mentions, didn't we? Everybody else got a number, which is good. Let's move on to number 2. This one surprised me that you picked this, and it kind of surprised me that I picked it because it looks like one of my Elvis velvet paintings. What appeals to you about this one? Fool on the Hill's Bittersweet Nightshade.
Oh yes. Hang on. Yeah, I thought it was a really clever idea with it. With the one with the light behind, the bouquet behind.
Yes, with the
Yeah, I thought it was a
red
really
bouquet.
clever idea. And I love the textures on it and just the whole idea behind it. I thought it was very creative.
Yeah, I think so too. It's very assertive as well. Very purple, green, and yellow. But yeah, I mean, it grabbed my attention too, so that's good. No, we're already into the places. This is in 10th place as a tie. This one is from WPR, and it's called Tiny Dancer. It's a little purple flower with a swirl around it. How do you think he did that, and why do you like it?
You know, I have actually no idea how this was produced, which adds a little bit of mystery to it, doesn't it? But I thought it was quite unique. I like how it's the black and the purple. It's, you know, there's not good focus on it, good details in it, but just so creative and different.
Agree on every point. I think it was done with a time a long shutter exposure in a dark room, and the camera was
Mm,
turning and moving back, kind of spinning and moving back. I don't know
okay.
how you'd do that, or
I,
maybe
I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure if it was done in Photoshop or not,
it
and
might
then
have been.
just combined. I'm not
It might
sure.
well have been. I don't know, but I like the effect. It's clever. Good. All right.
Good.
Well, that's number 10 in a tie. The other tie at number 10 is the Mexican Gold Poppy Antlers by William Bodine.
I loved the light on this one. I like the light how it comes across and it shows up all of the answers and the tiny bits of pollen. And I like how the background's blue against the yellow. And that works for me. So it just sort of pulls it together. It's good.
Yeah, it does. It does work for me too. The colors certainly do, and I like the light. It's pretty characteristic of William's work. I would point out, by the way, that neither of us knew who the pictures were taken by. And one other point I'd make is that Angie had mentioned this to one of her Facebook groups. Was it Angie? That
Yeah, yeah. A couple of them actually. So
okay? Well, because
florography was one of them.
we got more new people this month than we have in any month before, which is fantastic. Exciting that people have come by and found the competition, and I'm grateful to you for spreading the word. But we didn't know any of these people, or I didn't know any of the new people, but I certainly didn't know who'd taken any of the other shots either. So we were very much blinded to this. So the next one is number 9, and what you chose here was by Primitive Dan. It's the Evergreen Forget-Me-Nots, the
Oh yeah.
pine cone
I
forget-me-not.
This was a good idea, clever idea. Somebody's picked the forget-me-nots and placed them inside a little pine cone, I think it is. I love how they're covered in dewdrops, whether they did that intentionally or they were just wet when they found them, I'm not sure. I like the sort of diagonal, how the pine cone goes across diagonally, and the colours as well. I think it's lots of nice interest in there. Oh, and it's unique again.
Agreed. I mean, it is. It's unique. It's colorful. It makes you think. And tell me, what is the significance of the forget-me-nots? I think that this picture had a short message with it that you read.
I think it was with one of the other photographs of forget-me-nots, and it
Could
was
have
to
been.
do with maybe was it Alzheimer's? No, I'm forgetting.
No, I
I
believe
think
it
it
is.
was.
I believe that that was that is the flower that has been associated with that as an emblem.
Mhm.
But yeah, either way, I also like the dew. The dewdrops work on this really well. Very nice, very nice. So at number 8, we had a tie, and you picked this Nature's Harmony by Mr. Lee. It's the
Mhm.
hoverfly on a yellow thing.
Yeah, it's a very natural image, isn't it? Just see, you could just go out and see that in any sort of field or along the verge of the roadside. But there's such lovely details. I like the way the hoverfly's caught with its, is it the proboscis going onto the flower?
Proboscis, yep,
Is that proboscis?
yep.
Um, it's lovely. I just really like it. I think it's very well done.
I agree. It's a beautiful handheld single frame. I don't think it was stacked, but it's a nice photograph. Do you find, or how do you deal with an image like this that could arguably be said to be a very nice insect macro shot? I mean, how do you square the circle of this having elements that might give it an advantage? If that flower had not had a fly on it, it might not have been as appealing.
Maybe, but flowers were made for insects. They exist for insects to spread their pollen about. Um, um, I think it's part of flowers having insects on them. They
I
go hand in
couldn't agree
hand.
more. Could not agree more. Yeah, that's the way I feel about it too. I do. I feel a bit uncomfortable at the thought that somebody has struggled to exclude an insect because they thought it was flowers only, and
Yeah,
feel like there could be a disadvantage there. But either way, I agree. This is a lovely flower picture. I do love the fact that there are two ants on the other flower as well.
yeah.
That's
You don't notice that initially, do you? I like the
Yeah, I
little
love little
ant.
surprises in pictures like that. Beautiful. Okay. Well, also in the tie was a picture that it almost is almost cliche for me, looking at very few flower pictures, but it's by Macro Everything Around Me, and it's called In Bloom. What about this one?
Is
The-
this the pink
the-
chrysanthemum
yeah,
looking
I have
one?
no idea if it's a
It's,
chrysanthemum or not. It's a red
I
flower.
think it was. Um, I just thought it was very classic. I liked the details on the tips of the all of the petals and sort of the the almost like the geometry of it. I just enjoyed that and I thought it was very well done.
I like the endive shape of the petals in this. There's something appealing about that. It looks really solid, but also succulent. I like it
Hmm.
too. It's well done. All right, and at number 7, this one really surprised me and interested me that you picked it, but it's grown on me, and it's the flintfish's picture hanging on.
Yeah. I found this very original because normally, like you've just said, you're looking for flowers, you'll only photograph the flowers, but capturing that extra little bit of essence of an insect just sort of hanging in there, it takes you to the scene basically. You've got the environment that the flowers are in, so you can see it with enough detail to know where it is. And then you've also got the insect, it tells the story. It's very much a storytelling image to me.
Oh yes.
So you can just imagine early morning, the insect's not woken up yet, so he's kind of caught there sleeping. So I like it. And they're drooping, the snake's head fritillaries. I like the way they're drooping and the person's got down, right down on the ground. They must have had the head on the ground to look up at those.
Did they droop like that just in the morning, or is that the way they always are?
That's their natural way. Yeah, they're
They're
drooping.
very pretty, I must say. And you like the sky and the light green of the trees as the backdrop, that works?
I like the whole environmental thing because it tells part of the story. I think sometimes a storytelling image appeals.
Oh, yeah. I mean, more than half of the time, it's the storytelling images that win this competition. Some of
Yeah.
them have been superb, just brilliant. Great. Well, that's at number 7. I think we had a tie at number 6 as well. And the first picture of the tie was by James S. And this was the pyramidal orchid. It appears to be floating in a green soup.
Now, very different to the last image because it's not showing the environment. It's just taken everything out of focus before and behind, and I love that. I really enjoy it, and that's how I like to take floral images out in nature. It would be nice to have seen a little bit more of the stem, but I really like it.
I think it's part of its charm that the stem disappears. It makes it look like
Mhm.
it's just kind of hovering. It is a pretty
Yeah,
picture.
it's
Do you
lovely.
think that that is a natural photographic bokeh around the flower, or do you think that that's been?
I do, yeah,
Yeah.
that because I've lain in fields taking photographs just like that. You've got the grass in front of them. And it depends what lens you're using, really. If you've got a longer lens, then everything goes out of focus in the foreground and behind it.
The vibe is very similar to that in the picture in your backdrop right now of the bleeding hearts. Similar kind of
Yeah,
look to the bokeh. I need to try
yeah.
that. Would you have shot this at 1.6, 1.8, or 2.8?
No, probably a bit more, probably about f4 to 5. Um, yeah,
Okay.
I would have got much further, really far back, and chosen like a 180 lens and chosen
Oh,
f4 or 5 to get the whole flower in focus.
nice. And that would have given you that quality of bokeh around it.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Well, interestingly, also tied at number 6, and I don't think this has ever happened before in one of my competitions, but it is the bee orchid, also by James S. And this was one that I added to to the mix because I couldn't resist it. I love this picture. What do you think of it?
I love it as well. I'm really fond of these flowers. They're actually fairly uncommon in the UK and they don't flower very often. I think it's only every so many years that they flower. So they're not very easy to find either. So even just finding one, they've done well, but it's got characteristic, hasn't it? It's
Oh,
nicely done.
I didn't even know these existed, let alone in England. I thought if you'd find them, it would be in Peru or something. But I've never seen such. It's almost like looking at an insect mimic, which can be impressive. But this, a plant mimicking an insect, is just it's crazy. I love it. I really do, and the detail, the picture is lovely as well. James had a very successful picture here. I'd have put that one on my wall. Talking about putting pictures on walls, number 5, all by itself, is one that grabbed us both instantly. It's Mihai's Snowdrop.
This is a really simple but very striking, very stunning image. And you could easily see people buying this on cards or, like you say, putting it on the walls. Definitely. It's really well done. Sometimes simplicity just works the best.
I am in the process of trying to find some of those beaded curtain things you hang over doorways to use as
Mhm.
doors, because I don't have any doors in this room. And I looked at that this morning again, and I thought, that's just the right size. If I could figure out how to get that printed on the beads so that it looked
Mhm.
like that when they were hanging up, that would be very bright for the room.
That'd be wonderful.
Would, yeah. Be impossibly difficult for me to do. I calculated I needed over 8,000 beads to do both doorways. 8,000 beads that's too many beads. Anyway, number four is a tie. We have two entries tying, and the first one is Gizmos in the Shadows. That's
Now
the
this,
lily, I think.
I think both me and Alan agreed this is a spectacular shot. The lighting is gorgeous. The way it just hits all of the pollen and brings out the texture of both the pollen and on the petals, just beautiful. And it lights up the is it the anther things going up the top? It's gorgeous. Yeah, loved it.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, it looks very professional. It looks like something. I don't know if it detracted from it. It looks a little bit like something I'd expect to see on a sympathy card, which was not necessarily a bad thing, I suppose, but it did look a bit sad compared to the snowdrop. But it's a lovely picture, well executed. The other one, and this was one that I added after the fact. In fourth place as the other tie was the Borderland Peppers photograph, Lone Survivor, the little bud on the dark branches.
Yeah, this is really pretty, very appealing, the way it's coming out of the darkness towards the light, and just that hint of yellows bursting out, of new life coming. Lovely.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great photograph, and it also tells a story to me. Do you know what it is? Actually, I recognize the
Don't.
shape of the bud, but I can't remember what they're called.
I really
Trees
don't.
is good enough for me. All right, number three in third place by itself is Slavek Gabris Sunflower.
Well, it's got impact. It hits you straight away. It's really very well executed, and it's hard to do. It's really fiddly getting all of those drops on there, almost exactly the same size, and getting the sunflower just the right distance behind. Yeah, that works so well. It's got a lot of impact.
The
Happy photo.
the thing that probably made it for me was the one drop of dew, second from the left, that has the sun or the flash or whatever it is he's using striking the corner, and has a starburst effect that's it's like a tiny little accent that just sets the whole picture off. I love it. Love it.
Mhm.
Beautiful. So congratulations, Slavek, on getting position number three. And we have a tie for number two. No, we don't. We have a tie for number three. My bad. Sorry. I was confused. So the tie is at number three, and the second is the bee landing on the spiderwort by Bob Fine.
Well, this one's absolutely superb. They've done an incredible job catching the bee going into the flower. The flower's lovely and sharp where it needs to be. The colours, the detail are wonderful, all those blues, greens, and yellows. It's the backdrop totally out of focus, lovely. And the bee, this just makes it for me that the bee is sharp, yet its wings are blurred. That is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, I love the fact that the green is perfect green for a photograph like this. It's not too green, which is a temptation I always have, is to oversaturate green plants. It just looks perfect. The balance does, and where the purplish background came from, I don't know, but it could not be better as a foil for the green on the left.
Mhm.
What do you suppose did that? Is that my imagination making the background look purple? Is it just? I might not be purple. It might just be grey, or I can't tell. But it works. It's just gorgeous.
It's hard to tell, isn't it? It could be
Yeah.
some out of focus building or something, couldn't it?
Yes, or a
Or
tree
flowers.
or a path. Yeah, but
Yeah,
it feels like there's a lavender field or something back there. But
yeah,
either way, it really works. What kind of flower is that? It's a spiderwort.
yeah.
Is that a common flower around here? I kind of like that one.
I have no idea.
That's almost as good a bee in flight picture as I was taking with my machine yesterday.
Did you actually get any photos?
No, I didn't. No. When I looked at them, there were about 50 black frames, and I figured out what it was is the machine was refreshing itself so that it wouldn't build up noise on the sensor, and it was taking a picture every 30 seconds just to clear
Okay.
out the memory. So all the times I thought that we were catching a picture, it was just recycling the sensor. So there wasn't
Oh,
a single insect on it. But I'm taking it out again today. I'm going to get some insects. Probably won't be this good, but they'll be good. Number 2 is also a tie. The first one that you picked is from Tycho, Shimmering Stigma Study, which is a tongue twister, in case you were wondering.
and
What is it about this?
it is shimmering, isn't it? When you look into the details of this, the sort of glow and shimmer. I don't know how else to put it better than the title is great. The details are fantastic. It's really on the ball for a macro focus stacked photo. It's just perfectly done.
When we zoom all the way in like this, you can see that each of those uh, bumps is a cell. I mean, that is impressive photography. It is gorgeous, and I love the translucence of it. Yet the overall, when I first saw it, I was not impressed. It looked like a piece of furniture from Scandinavia, but yeah, the closer you look, the more amazing it gets. Well, there was another one that I kind of picked and talked you into, but I think this one is a gorgeous one too. Also, tie for second place is Gadavis or Gadavis yellow jonquil under UV light.
It's a very clever idea. I had no idea that you could do this with UV light. So kudos to the person that did that. I like their composition as well. It's unusual.
Yeah, they're the things that got me. I love that look of leathery color with that shock of bright blue accent right there in the middle. I have never seen one of these plants, I don't think, and I certainly didn't know they had this. But a lot of plants use ultraviolet excitable fluorescence like this to attract insects that can see this kind of light, and it acts as a beacon for certain insects to get to the right flower. I've just not seen it presented so well, and this is a great use of negative space, which is one of my favorite compositional elements in photographs. Anyway, it just works for me. I like it. Lots of detail, and it's very technically a nice photograph as well. So a worthy second place, which leaves us with the winner. And you have some explaining to do. No, this is the one you chose, and it has grown on me. I like this picture a lot. Congratulations to someone with a Sony, a new person to this competition, who submitted Bloodroot. What do you
Now
think?
this one, I actually thought it was a wood anemone, which it's not. I had no idea what a bloodwort was, and I've looked them up since, and they're very similar. But the second I saw this, it transported me to my favourite places, lying in the middle of the woods or on the forest floor with these delicate little flowers in it, almost like a enchanted fairy tale scene. And when you look up, it's coming up full of light and it's looking up into the light. And that's why I like the bouquet behind in the trees. Um, just that whole fairy tale vibe. I love it. And I think it's perfectly executed for that sort of type of photo. I love it. Mhm.
I have not. I have absolutely nothing to add to that. I mean, that's exactly why I wanted you to do the judging, because you can see this uh, as clearly as that. I am very impressed with the selection of pictures you chose. I mean, I think you've done a spectacular job, and I'm not the least bit surprised. I mean, as a photographer, your skill is just astonishing, and I hope we get to see a lot more of your stuff. Where can viewers go to see your work, or follow you, or see what you're doing?
I do have Facebook pages. I have several. I'm
Oh, really?
terrible.
Why do you
Yeah,
do that? Just different interests?
because a lot of people love the frogs and reptiles, but a lot of people don't. And I have some followers that are frightened of snakes, insects, or frogs. So I tried to keep my other stuff on my main page, which is just Angi Wallace Photography. And
Okay.
then have all my frogs and reptiles on just Angi Wallace, reptile and amphibian photographer, which is quite a mouthful.
That is. Well, I'll put them down as links in the notes down below this video, so anybody can. Is it an open Facebook group, or do you have to let people in?
They're just pages, so you just follow them.
Okay.
Nice and easy.
Do you do Instagram or any of those other things?
Yeah, just Angi Wallace Photography. And the same for my website, angiwallacephotography.com.
I think I can remember that, and I'll write it down for those who can't. So, thank you so much for all of your time, because this turned out to take a little more time than we calculated, but it's been tremendous fun. I have learned a lot about your photography and about how to judge flower competitions from you, and it's wonderful. So I appreciate your time, and I appreciate having you as a member of our community too. You've added so much in the time you've been with us. I do appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. I've loved being part of the community and getting involved, and I'm going to enjoy participating a bit more and just getting to know a few more of the people in your followers as part of the group. It's a real pleasure, and it's been great. I've really enjoyed judging the competition.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you have started something new. We've got other talented folks who would, I think, enjoy this as well, and I know that I enjoyed having an expert around for once. And don't forget, everybody, it's Stereo Month. Talking about having experts involved, Rick's going to be judging this next one with me, so you better be on your P's and Q's. Have you got a stereo lined up, Angie?
I haven't got one. I've taken quite a few, and I'm really enjoying the stereo stuff. Love
Me
it.
too. It's
I
tougher
can't
than it
wait.
looks.
I can't wait to see what everybody does.
Yeah,
It's going to be great.
me too. I'm excited. These two have been the two that I was most excited about this year. If Let me close with one question for you, and this is going to put you right on the spot.
Mhm.
If you had to pick one topic for a competition, one a themed competition that you would want to enter more than any other, what would the title of it be?
Enchanted.
Oh my goodness. What a brilliant idea. Okay. That raises so many possibilities. I love that. That
Yeah.
is that you can expect to see that before the end of the year. Very good. Thank you, Angie. I do appreciate it. It's been great. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And I'll see you back with the regular programming before long. Take care, everybody.
Bye, everyone.